Thank you for joining us at Improv on and off the show. My name is Shannon Stott, and I have such a marvelous team working with me tonight. Tonight, we are talking about the self. But I am not doing any of this by myself. I have lots of people doing it with me. But you're asking, what is the it, Shannon? What is the it? And the it is improv. Yes, improv, but also science. We are taking the science of improv, combining it with improv so that you know how to use improv in your life, how to connect to yourself and others using improv techniques. We are going to talk to Emily Arnold, a licensed board certified behavioral analyst. We're going to talk to Luke Wallens, who is a drama therapist. We're going to have my improv partner come up here later. We'll see them later, and we're going to do some improv. We are also going to talk to our special guest, Kevin. He is going to be amazing, but you'll learn all of these things later on. Anything else that I have to tell you? If you are in the chat, please feel free to tell us, to feel what it is that you're feeling. Let me know what's going on with you as you are doing some improv, because you will be asked to do some improv. If you haven't already, follow Shannon Stott all over the place, Facebook and Instagram, so you know what it is that improv can do for you. Tonight, our big topic is community. That's the topic for the year. And our little topic for the month is the self. I said this before, we can't do this alone. We need friends, we need family, we need you. And right now, I need Aaron Sines, and he's coming up to talk to you. This is great. Yeah. Look at this.
Are we there?
Yeah, we're right here.
We're there. Hey.
Aaron,
Hi.
This is you.
This is me. This is Shannon Dale Stott Davis.
Everybody knows who I am. I did a whole talk about it.
Just now?
Mm-hmm, just now. You weren't there.
I wasn't there. I was
fine.
here.
Totally
this is where I'm at.
Aaron.
Yeah.
This is the thing. You and I are friends. We are also improv partners.
Yep.
And in this theme of self, what does that bring up for you?
Well, it's really interesting to me because self and improv have been linked together for a very long time, since basically I was like 14. Oh. And for me, the improv was a way of getting out of myself. Mm-hmm. Myself was shy and nervous a lot of the time. And so having games and structure and all that really helped me not worry about that. So to me, improv has been a way for me to escape myself. But then once I got there and I started working with people who do all sorts of theater and some of the things we'll see tonight, it was also about kind of rediscovering and bringing myself back in, coming back to myself through improv. And that has been an amazing journey that's not anywhere near over. And that's what I feel when you say self. Yeah. How about you?
I want to talk about me, but every time we do this, I'm surprised by what you have to say. Because I haven't thought about the coming and going of self, right? Especially when it comes to improv, the escaping, I think that's the word you use, sort of running away from yourself and who you are in the discovery, and then returning to yourself. That's through improv. We get this amazing gift on stage where we are able to practice who we are and who we want to be. Yeah. And there is a returning to self in that. There's a piece of like, I can practice empathy. I can practice listening. I can practice friendship. I can practice being small, taking up space, taking up less space, whatever it is. And I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about the returning and escaping of self, and that's amazing. You said, what about me? Yes. What about me when I think of self? We've talked about, Emily and I are doing this thing every Monday where we're talking about self. And I really have been thinking about the environment, the self in environment as it pertains to who you are in different places. And specifically because, I've traveled and I have a background in traveling here and there all across the world, and who I become in different cultures, in different settings, who I want to let go of and who I want to keep. And then there's a piece of like who I am all the time, right? And that's also a difficult question to ask yourself.
So you hit on some of the same things, though, of having like a multiplicity of identity.
Girl,
right?
you said multiplicity.
Yeah, I did. So there's it feels like there's many different versions of us, and improv is moving us between them or taking us in and out of them. It's almost a vehicle for change when it comes to our identity and ourselves. That was me trying to sound smart. We should get someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
And that would be Emily Arnold. Oh. Yes, Emily.
Hey, Emily, are you out there?
Hey, I sure am.
So good. So good.
I'm out here in the universe.
Yes, we told everyone that you are a licensed, board certified behavioral analyst. And
I am. That's my gig. What that essentially means is that I like to look at how our behavior impacts our environment and vice versa, and kind of the interwovenness of behavior and environmental stimuli.
If we took out the sentence you just said, how our behavior impacts our environment, and took out behavior and inserted self, would that still work? How ourselves impact our environment and how our environment impacts ourselves, right? That works, right?
Yeah, I mean, how we as humans, that's honestly probably the more colloquial way, the more like natural way to talk about things is how we as humans, how ourselves interact with our environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, as there's a lot to say about ourselves. I'm very excited.
I know you have a lot to give to us, but I just realized, Emily, I'm very curious. How did self resonate with you? Going off.
So I and I touch on this. I'm going to elaborate more on this in a few minutes. But self is actually really funny for me because my background is in like observable behavior. And self is kind of this nether thing that's a little difficult to describe, a little difficult to nail down. So I've been spending the month kind of finding good ways to nail down exactly how we can talk about ourselves. It's been particularly tricky for me.
You said, say that one more time.
It's been particularly tricky for me.
Oh,
and what a fun ride it's been.
And I feel like you have definitely, you and I have talked about that a little bit, and now you have to take all those ideas and smash them into a slideshow.
Yeah. That's what I've done. That's what I have for you.
It's hard to do. Take yourself and put it in a box. No.
And then slice yourself up and just show us little pieces one at a time.
It sounds
terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna slice it into about like 8 Canva made pictures and put it on a screen.
It's gonna be super helpful. We'll let you get to it.
Yes.
All right. Well, so in a second, so we're going to talk about the self and kind of what that means from a perspective of having a little bit more of a behavioral definition and ways that we can practice ourself. So like I said, the self is kind of this nebulous thing that people have been trying to nail down for centuries. You know, the ancient philosophers were trying to figure out what is the self, what is the mind, and I think that's something that everyone has kind of questioned throughout their lifetime. Like, what exactly is the self? And so I want to kind of pull us away from that nebulous metaphysical thought for the day. And what I really want us to focus on today is thinking about like how we think and talk about who we are as human beings. And what I'm thinking about right now is that Canva is neglecting to show some of the pictures that I put in the slideshow. So that's fine. The font's beautiful. So we're going to think and talk about who you are as a person. So when you think about that, thinking about who you are, generally you think about like the content of of yourself, right? You think, oh, well, I'm a parent, or I'm a hard worker. Maybe you think things like I'm very creative or I'm very kind. And a lot of times we call that, I like to think about that as like the stories that we tell ourselves. They can be very nice stories, right? They're they can be very accurate, and they can help guide us in some tough times to be like, okay, well, I know that I'm a hard worker, so it's important for me to just keep plugging through. Or I know that I'm a kind person, so I'm going to do the kind thing. But the challenge that we run into with that is that sometimes our stories don't really line up to real life. For instance, right now, I had this story that I told myself that I made these presentations that had really cute pictures, and it's not really lining up with reality right now, right? Sometimes we have these things that happen where we're like, oh, I'm really smart or I'm really creative, but maybe we have a writer's block, or maybe we come to something that's really difficult that we can't manage. You know, if we say like, I'm a family person, I'm a good parent, and family's all I do, but then you are late to like your kid's baseball game because you got caught up at work, it might cause a lot of challenges and negative feelings for you. A little bit of, feeling like, well, I thought I was this person, but I'm failing at this thing. And it can cause a lot of anxiety and a lot of sadness in us, right? So, what I want to encourage us to do instead is to be a little bit flexible about our stories, because our stories are ever changing, right? The world, the environment that we're in is chaos. Canva is chaos. Technology is chaos. And so, even when we tell ourselves these stories, they're not necessarily going to be true. And having a little bit of flexibility with this is going to help us in the long run, shield us from some of that anxiety and some of that sadness. And so here's some of the ways that we work on that, right? The first thing that you can do is start noticing. Kind of when Erin was saying that improv has kind of helped us take a step back and kind of run away from ourselves by exploring different perspectives, that's kind of like this, right? Taking a step back from ourselves and really looking at, how we affect the environment around us and how we are affected by the environment around us. Maybe we're looking for things that when we feel joy, think about like, oh, what was that made me feel joy? When you're with certain people, think about like, oh, that person makes me feel a certain way. Notice the things that make you scared or nervous. But then in turn, noticing how you're affecting the world, right? Noticing how the kind thing that you say to someone affects them, or noticing how you were able to close a business deal in that particular way and make one of your clients very happy. All of those things are important in determining kind of who you are and how you behave in the world. But the first step is noticing. And then the second step is coming up with things that are important to you, because those are things that are probably fairly immutable. They're not going to change quite as often as like the outside world changes, right? It's important to me to support others, to be creative and engage in self-care, even if the world is kind of chaos sometimes. And sometimes I have to make a choice to follow those things. And that helps kind of guide my sense of self, that these are things that are important to me. Now, like Shannon and Erin said, one of the cool things about improvisation is that we are able to practice different experiences and different perspectives and different contexts within a safe space. So we can put on different hats and we can engage in different behaviors, and we can say different things and feel different responses and observe how that affects the world in a controlled environment. So we're able to actually practice things that we might not be able to practice regularly in the real world. And that is going to help our brain, again, be a little more flexible with those things about who we are and what's important to us and how we respond. And that's how we explore ourselves. So that is so much. And I cannot wait to see what Shannon and Erin have to do. They're going to be doing an improv scene for you all based on everything we've been talking about so far. So I'm going to kick it over to Shannon and Erin.
These avatars are so realistic. What are you seeing? Everything?
Yeah, and it's affecting my body.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Are you feeling it? I get a little dizzy when I'm in VR.
I don't know if I like this. Honestly, I don't know if it's making me feel like maybe I wasn't who I thought I was, you know?
Oh, wow.
Well, I know it's existential, but it's supposed to be like that. Where are you even?
Well, I was going to get in line for the roller coaster, but this seems pretty intense for, hey.
Oh, hey. Hey.
How you doing, Mel?
Hey. Listen, Doc, this is okay.
Yeah.
But can
Yeah. Yeah.
See? You see? You see? You see?
Yeah. It feels a little weird, huh?
I don't know if I can handle this.
The VR is just one of many tools we could use to process some of your trauma, Mel. It doesn't have to be this. Here, put these down for a second.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah. Being a completely different person, being a starfish, you know,
Okay.
I thought I liked that. I thought I
Sure.
would. I thought I would like the idea of just, having limbs that came off for living in the sea. And Doc, I don't feel that way.
Okay. Well, instead of getting a whole new body and a whole new identity, let's approach what happened at Six Flags just from a different person's perspective. So you mentioned there were a lot of people who were watching you and your family get on the roller coaster that day.
Yeah.
So why don't you be one of those people? And I'll be someone in your family getting on the roller coaster.
Like the kid who was just sitting there and crying.
Before anything had happened.
Just by himself, because no one was even paying attention to him. And he was just crying. He was just crying and crying. Can someone pay attention to me? Is how he was sounding. Can someone pay attention to me? Anybody?
I'm Mel, and I'm supposed to be getting on this roller coaster with my family, but instead, maybe I'll change what I do and come help you. Hi, I'm Mel. I'm a really sweet person who's about to have a bad experience, but instead, I might want to help you with yours.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, no. No.
Too much?
That's too much. That's too weird.
Okay.
Look, I want to feel the feelings I'm supposed to feel, you know? I want to feel them in this body. I want to harbor those sensations. But when I feel them, I shut down. And I'm no good to my family. I'm no good to my work. I'm no good to myself.
But that's okay. It's okay not to be good to all those things. Right now, we're just focusing on you, Mel. You're worth focusing on. So maybe we can just focus on that. Yeah?
You're the only person who's said that to me.
Well, then let me say it again. Mel, you're worth focusing on. The pain you've gone through and the work you're doing on it is worthy of paying attention to and working on.
Do you think that whoever myself was, that I'll ever get back there? She was vibrant, you know, like super playful and jokey and happy and laughed so hard, guttural laughs, like deep laughter.
Could you find one for me? Could you give me a big laugh?
Yeah.
That person that you were, she's gone along with all the other people you were. But she left you a lot of gifts, and you just found one. And I think that's a good place for us to stop today.
Thanks, Doc.
No problem.
I'm not getting back in VR ever again.
Okay, well that's a shame because I have a really cool
No,
set
no,
of
it's
psychological
fine. It's fine.
tools.
No, I'm very happy not to be a starfish. I'll stay a human. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, since we're done though, I'm going to go back in.
That's our scene. That's our scene.
That was a scene.
Oh, that was a scene, Aaron.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was a full thing that you did there.
And, like back and forward, and that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Talk to us. You talk to us.
I will. So you utilize. So we could talk about the content of your scene, right? Which was very explicitly exploring self and how you're feeling and all of those things. But what I would like to talk about is how we discussed that improv can be utilized to practice perspective taking. And so what I think is really neat here is that you're able to try on a couple different hats. Aaron, besides the obvious, like, trying the perspective of the therapist and someone recovering from a trauma, even more than that, and possibly more important than that, you were able to kind of test run some conversations, like giving affirming messages to someone you care about and helping someone work through something that was challenging for them. And then on Shannon's side, being able to self advocate and being able to practice saying that this is uncomfortable. So I think those are really, really good examples of being able to test drive something. So how did playing those perspectives feel to the two of you? How were you noticing it felt?
Oh, well, it's really handy to have an excuse to say something that you think is better than you would say in real life. If I couldn't say that in real life, that would come across too cheesy. But this guy is a cheesy character, so he can just say he likes someone and wants the best thing for them. And that's very freeing. So that's how it felt.
Yeah, and for me, it was there was some games in there that you actually offered, some character switching, some character trying, right? And I, because we are improvisers. In the moment, I was thinking, oh, this is super helpful to go through something and try on different hats. Like, what's happening in a moment? How many characters are there? And then how many characters do I have myself, and what do they look like?
Yeah. And that was amazing. I love that y'all were able to replicate all of those things.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of stumbled in to some pieces that could be very good healing tools. But I don't want to stumble through tools.
I don't want to stumble through
I want
tools.
to go find someone who mastered those tools.
You don't have to find them.
I don't.
We don't. You don't. We actually have a drama therapist on our team who can talk us through some drama therapy, and we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that part. So do you want to talk
Luke
to
Wallens?
Luke? It is
Yes,
Luke
Oh my
Wallens.
God. Okay.
Let's go meet Luke Wallens.
Bye. You and Luke can talk.
Okay. So I'm gonna introduce Luke Wallens, who is a registered drama therapist, and we're gonna talk to him. Hey, Luke.
Hello.
I am so excited that you're here. So why don't we kick things off with you telling us your thoughts about self?
Right. So yeah, there's a lot of different factors with the self, and there's a lot of memory, a lot of past that makes up who we are, and then also like where we want to go. And so with drama therapy, there's a lot of different ways you can explore the self. Just like you had mentioned, like just trying on different hats. There's like role theory with Robert Landy and figuring out different roles that you play throughout your life. Like, at home, I'm this role. At work, I'm this role. And then there's also a lot of different values that like you keep on coming back to as well, and keep on driving towards. And so, throughout your life that you just gravitate towards. And so we'll be exploring that a little bit, but yeah. So it's really cool how self kind of shows up in a lot of different ways and how we see ourselves as well.
Yeah, and you were just about to say that we're going to explore some things. So I would love to see you explore some things, or I would love to see Shannon and Aaron explore some things.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll explore with them right now.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi, Luke.
Hi. How you doing? Hi, Aaron.
You're
How you
doing
guys
a thing. You're
Oh,
doing a
thanks.
thing.
I'm in.
You're
Yes. Okay.
in.
Cool. Great. Hello. Hello. It's good to see you both.
It's good to see you.
We've been virtual for a long time.
Yes, yeah. This is like woo, yeah. So yeah, so we'll be exploring some values of the self that we're going to be looking for. And if I was running a workshop all about values, you know, I'd have the participants kind of figure out one value that the whole group would want to work on. And so I've talked with you beforehand.
You did.
We looked at the set of values from Brene Brown, and we picked integrity, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, cool, great. All right, so yeah, we'll be working on that. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine a couple different improv games together, and then kind of like run through a kind of a therapeutic realm. So basically, we're going to focus on integrity first, and I'm going to need we're going to have. How about you both embody integrity? So, what is integrity like? How does it show up for you in your body?
I think I'm. Oh, should we talk about it, or should we just do it?
Yeah. You can talk about it. You can talk through it. Yeah.
I think integrity to me is someone who shows more of themselves. So there's a lot of like openness, a lot of like shoulders back, chest forward,
That's
sort of.
interesting. As I am feeling through integrity, it feels like shrinking. Actually, yeah, it feels like oh, I have the integrity to put you first. It's I don't need to show myself. So embodying it feels more small.
Yeah, more small.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
Like this.
shoulders back and then more small. Yeah. Anything else that's coming up?
Let's see. Integrity. I need to. I'm walking. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move
Feel the
through.
space,
I'm
really.
moving through the space.
We'll play with it.
I think to me, my voice feels more patient and more like punctuated when I try to talk like someone who is trying to be honest and authentic.
Honest and authentic. It's so funny. I feel like
just the opposite?
in talking about it, I feel the opposite. Like I want to be. Did you say your voice?
More patient.
More patient.
And more punctuated.
More punctuated. Yeah. Whereas mine, I want to speak like I'm talking right now. Less punctuation, more flow, making this person, whoever this person is, feel very comfortable.
Right.
So that they feel like they can trust me. And that trust still makes me feel like I should be diminished. Oh no!
But I like how you were talking. It seemed like it was like patient. It was grounded. Like you were very much like it still there was a lot of similarities because like the shoulders were back. You were like, okay, cool. I'm gonna focus on creating a comfortable, warm space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Integrity.
Yeah.
Integrity.
Great. So we have that. Perfect. So this is kind of the ideal embodiment of integrity for you both in two different ways. Cool. So next we're going to do scene painting.
Okay.
But we're going to do something. We're going to be in a room where our integrity cells.
Okay.
Right. But there are going to be factors that block us, that get in the way of integrity.
Okay.
So it could be something very. It could be like a plant that is just saying no, or it could be,
Got it.
Or
Got
it could be something, something very figurative that's like this is a piece of paper and on it says lies. the whole time.
Ooh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
so things like that.
So place things in this room
Yeah,
that
like-
block integrity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I would say, like let's just go for 2 things.
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
Okay, 2 things each, Luke. Like 10 things. Okay, I'm
We're
placing
going for
something.
simple.
Simple,
Okay.
simple. I am placing in this space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a grapefruit. It's a
Okay.
grapefruit on a table,
Yeah.
and it's obviously been cut into, but inside the grapefruit is just ants. Like
Oh,
ants. It's just
Yeah.
ants and like
Mhm.
some mold and fungus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's
Okay.
good. That's good.
Ooh.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, so there's a window here, and
Okay.
it's open, and in the courtyard beyond is a fountain, a very pretty fountain, but the gurgling noise it makes is just tweets. It's just like mean tweets from
Oh,
Twitter. So as it gurgles and
no.
looks pretty, it's also saying things like, "Well, I would never wear that," and oh,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if you noticed this, but you know, like a lot of that kind of energy coming off of it.
I don't
Okay.
like that.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah. Got it.
mean tweet fountain.
Mean
Oh,
tweet
fountain.
fountain.
Mean tweet. And
Ant grapefruit.
And
And
ant
grapefruit.
grapefruit.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. So there are 2 things that that stop us from being like our integral selves, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we're gonna see if we can figure out solutions for these 2 things. So
Okay.
like figure out how to get
Oh,
past
wow.
them, get through them.
Get
Oh.
through
Right.
them.
So if we have like let's come back to your embodying
Okay.
integral selves, however you need.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we'll approach the grapefruit with ants. There's ants crawling around. It's gross.
Okay.
And yeah, how would we do that? Like, yeah.
How would
maybe
we
practically.
fix? Okay.
Yeah.
How would we
Let's go
fix
for
this?
practical.
Practical. What I would do is I would take this grapefruit and I would wash it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a sink right here. There's a sink right
There's
there.
a sink right here. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna put it in the sink. And I'm just gonna wash off the ants. I'm sorry, ants. Bye, ants.
Right.
And I'm gonna cut off the moldy part.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I did
So
it.
Good. Yeah. And what about the mean tweet fountain?
Well, I made a window that was open, and if I was able to close the window, I mean, very easy, no sound,
Done.
no sound. There you go.
Yeah.
No.
Hey.
Yeah, I just
wasn't so
turned
bad.
off the tweets.
That wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So what we're doing is just it's kind of feeling out like figuratively how we can
Mm.
you know like still maintain and come back to our value of being of integrity.
Mm.
And also just kind of like it's like if like you're driving a stick shift car and like you're just changing the gears and just kind of coming back, getting perspective, creative perspective on it, and coming back to it and be like, okay, cool. Like you know that seemed like an ant grapefruit situation that I don't need to go back to, or that seems like a mean tweet that I can just shut the window and I can carry on after that. So,
Yeah, that's helpful, Luke, because we blow things up in our minds when I think about integrity or any sort of value,
Mhm.
and there is an obstacle.
Yeah.
The obstacle feels very big, like that. And I really actually enjoy this this fountain because the fountain is so mean, like it's so out there. It feels like there's no way to get around this fountain, and just closing the windows. Oh, it's very simple to combat those things, to return to our values.
Like practical solutions are available to us, even though the emotional labor maybe is going to be its own thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and like, and at the same time, like you know, we are complex, imaginative beings,
Yeah.
and so we can always find a solution wherever we need to.
Oh wow, that's part of ourselves.
Luke Wallens is amazing. So okay, so you did a thing, Luke, where you're working with us. We are improvisers.
Yes.
We're using these techniques in improv on the stage. But we do have Kevin, who is not an improviser at all, who you and Emily will talk to, so that we can see how these techniques and improv and all of those things actually flow into things that are not off the stage.
There we are. We found it.
We found it. There it is.
ladies.
There
We
it
got
is.
all.
All right. Okay. So we're going to let you go for a moment and talk to Kevin.
Okay. Cool.
Ah.
Bye, Luke.
Yay. Hi, Kevin.
Hello,
Hey, how you
Luke,
doing?
and hello,
Pretty
Kevin.
good. Hey, how you doing?
Great, thanks. I'm so excited. We're so excited to have you here.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here.
So, Kevin, since today's topic is the self, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of myself to go around. A lot of a lot of years on this earth. I would start off like in my childhood. I was living in the house of a single parent, living with my mom. That sort of thing. With my mom, she was very kind of distant for the most part. So it was a lot of me just kind of, and I was the only child as well. So it was just kind of me just kind of figuring out myself for the most part. Until I got to like, teenage years, I was able to kind of really get more of a feel for myself in a sense of like, because I had role models. I used to go to like the rec centers, and I had a lot of mentors through the staff that worked at the rec center. So, um, they would motivate me, support me, that sort of a thing. So it was a lot of like seeing, like, I guess my own development through seeing them, that sort of a thing. And especially with some of those staff being also black males as well, it was me kind of understanding myself through them in a sense. So, um, but yeah, but that was kind of like my childhood for the most part. But I would say just myself in general. I'm a giving person. I love to help people. Yeah, that's the biggest part of me.
What was a quality or value that you saw in the role models that you embodied today?
I would say confidence.
Nice.
I played basketball like at the rec center. One of my mentors, Bookman, he was very tall, still very tall. But he taught me, I feel like, confidence. I was pretty good at basketball, but it was like, it just got a little bit better, when I have somebody saying, "Hey, you doing good," or "Hey, if you do something like this, then you can get a little bit better." So it's like, that confidence in him saying, give me positive energy. That positive energy, is a wonderful thing. So I think just positive support.
Yeah, and I know that. So nowadays, you're able to be a role model to others, right? Take that behavior that you saw when you were young and do it now. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so the rec centers that, I seen my role models, whether it be Bookman, Mr. Bradley, a lot of those mentors that helped me realize myself. I'm now working at the rec centers now, at Gus Garcia. I've been there like 10 years. So, and I primarily work with like teenagers. So for me, like, it's like it's all coming full circle. And it's it's the community that helped me. I'm now the leader of that community that's helping the next generation. So for me, it's like, providing like motivation to the teens, a positive male role model, a lot of times a father figure, that sort of a thing. So I really take pride in that. And the fact that I'm influencing like the next generation. Like when I'm old, 60, not 65, let's say 95 plus, I
Uh,
can be like, yeah, hey, you remember what I told you? Did you listen? And stuff that I've lessons that I've taught them, they can teach to the next person. And like that's my legacy. The fact that I'm a leader in my community and I'm able to, plant those seeds in the next generation.
yeah, and that melds so well into the value that you were talking about, the supportive, being supportive, right?
For sure.
Um, yeah, you're absolutely following that, and that is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where it's like the fact that I didn't have like a positive male role model, in a sense of like a father like that's in the house. I felt that what I didn't have, it's like I had to grow to be. And then in me kind of elevating myself to being my best self, it's like I'm able to, that emptiness that I had throughout my childhood, as far as a father and lack of a positive male role model in house. I
Mhm.
can be that, at least for how many hours you're gonna be at the rec center, or if we do something on the weekends, go on a field trip or go cook breakfast and look at a movie at the rec center. It's like they're able to see and engage with me and have those positive memories that they can go back years, into, when they're adults and all that. Like kids that were 8 years old when I started at the rec center are now like adults. And I'm in the process now of like one of my kids, Bobby, he's trying to work at the rec center. So to see him from 8 years old getting in physical altercations and that sort of a thing and having a hard time dealing with his anger and stuff like that, it's like I'm able to see him as a more mature version of himself, a better version and elevated version of himself. And it's like I have pride in that. I don't have any kids or anything like that, but in a sense, those are my version of kids at this moment.
Yeah, and I like that you have been an example and are seeing examples of that flexibility of what self is. You're not born with one self, like you're saying. Like you and these kids that you've seen grown up have grown into elevated versions of them, and that's beautiful. This is all so beautiful.
It's wonderful. Yeah. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. It's really amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
it's I don't know the time frame and all that, but
You're
it's
fine.
it's very
Yeah,
just,
you're good. Yeah.
it's like it's just very gratifying. Just the
Yeah.
fact that, somebody I seen that was, always getting in fights, that sort of thing, and him, learning lessons. It took a very long time for him to get it, but Bobby, he's more mature, more aware of it himself. And it's just it's amazing. And even for myself, like throughout my childhood, I'm very well, I would say this naturally, I'm very introverted. So I'm more to myself, and and it's like I'm able to open up and kind of open up pieces of me I didn't realize. So
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Just saying like that you're an introvert doesn't necessarily define all the nuances
for
of
sure.
you. Yeah. Beautiful. I know that Shannon and Aaron would love to do some improv with you. And you are not an improviser, right? This is new
Not
to
even a
you.
little bit. Not even a little bit.
Well, the good news is that you've had your whole lifetime of practice of exploring yourself and looking at role models and being a role model and trying on some, following your values and trying on some different hats. So, would you like to go try some improv with Shannon and Aaron?
Hey, why not? I guess so.
Yeah, go knock it out of the park.
Hey, good to see you in person. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the
Yay!
stage.
Yay! I'm glad you're here, Kevin.
Glad to be here.
All right.
Uh,
Aaron has
so
things for you.
you said a lot of amazing things. What I pulled in on, what I felt a lot, was about mentorship and that legacy. So I want to do a scene with you and Shannon where we explore me not knowing what I want to do and y'all being mentors to me. Okay, but it's improv. We got to make it fun and we got to make it interesting.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I have 3 books here, and then you're just going to look at those titles real quick and you're going to pick one that you like.
Let's go with Scorecast.
Scorecasting. And then, Shannon, you also get to pick a book.
The Big Bam.
The Big Bam. So the way this game works, sometimes it's called scripts, sometimes it's called different things.
Okay.
I am going to be a character. I'm going to say whatever comes to my character's mind.
Okay.
You, to simulate that case where like you don't always know what to say to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So all you can say is written in this book. So you can go anywhere in that book. You just go flip through, find some words.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to make sense. I'll make it make sense. Okay. Shannon's doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'm on your team.
Does that make sense? So like you are going to just
We're on the same
read
team.
from the book, but I'm going to pretend like it's my mentor saying something really good to me. And if you can, and we'll make it work that way. Does that sound good?
That sounds perfect.
All
I
right.
love it.
Where should the scene take place, Kevin? Where do you think we should be?
I would say at the cafeteria table.
At a cafeteria table.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna stand right here.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, Dr. Glade, Dr. G, could I talk to y'all for a bit?
Yeah, come on in. Yeah, that's a slate edge to the offense, but again, pretty even.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am kind of taking it a little bit offensive. I had a problem.
Mhm.
You see, my mom and I are in disagreement about where I should go to high school. I want to go to trade school and get something I can do today.
For sure.
She wants me to try to do something bigger.
I ain't going out there anymore.
Yeah, Dr. G. It's rough out there now. Everything's so expensive. Everything is so like do or die. People my age are making choices for the rest of their life. I kind of want to take it slower.
Yeah. We then look at the same pitch counts in low leverage and high leverage points in the game.
Oh, so there's more than one way to approach the problem. There's low leverage and high leverage. Okay, so what am I? Maybe I could try talking to my mom about that. Not every plan has to be forever. Maybe we could do a little compromise. What do you think, Dr. G?
I held back as long as I could, but it had to come.
Yeah. I want her to know that I'm trying to be her son, but there's parts of me that are just coming out, I mean, Dr. Glade, do you think I should just tell her straight up how I feel that I want to do my thing, or what should I say?
The risk of getting caught and failing the drug test was low.
Well, yeah. Well, we got over that problem, Dr. Glade. but thank you. No, I'm doing better now for that.
Mhm.
But you're right. Maybe she doesn't trust me so much because my choices in the past haven't always been so perfect.
Weenies.
Haven't always been perfect, but they're my own choices,
Weenies.
Dr. G.
Yeah.
Weenies.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that too. She has to deal with my sexuality and who I am. But I think the confidence is that I just need something to say to her, Dr. Glade. Something that's going to really make me feel like we're connecting, she and I.
Being fooled by chance can create similarly unbelieving statistics.
Not every time that I was lying to my mom was I trying to. Sometimes I also didn't know what I was doing. So maybe if I admit the fact that I'm still kind of a kid sometimes, she'll trust that I'm becoming a man.
The Babe wrote a book in 1928.
Well, I'm not a baby anymore. And it's definitely not 1928, but
Yes and no.
yeah, things haven't really changed that much sometimes.
To demonstrate the winner's curse, a certain economics professor has been known to snuff off a wad of cash into an envelope.
Oh, yes, right, Dr. G. Hey, trade school is going to help me make money. Money will help me make different choices in the future. Those choices could be what my mom wants, what I want. It's opportunity making.
Yeah.
Okay, it's opportunity.
Yeah.
Dr. G, Dr. Glade, this has been so good. I want to thank you so much. I'll make space for the next student, but can you just give me one last thing, Dr. Glade?
He's qualified to accomplish miracles.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent job. Awesome. You did great. Perfect. Oh my gosh. How was that for you?
That was honestly, it was freeing.
Really?
Yeah,
Good.
'cause-
tell us a
Yeah.
little more about it.
So it was one of those, my feelings, I guess, is like, it wasn't, I didn't have to think.
Right.
And then I think in life, I know for me, I overthink. I'm very critical, either of myself, sometimes other people at times.
Mhm.
So in those moments, it was like I wasn't thinking, I was just speaking. And in this reacting and in this speaking without thought, and it was free. A lot of times, for me, I don't feel free. I put a lot of pressure on myself. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting how the confines you put construct and confines on this game, Aaron, right? And it's interesting to me how you still were able to feel a certain amount of freedom even within that box, that construct.
That's true.
Yeah. How can you talk about that more? Like, in that, are there places in your work, in your life, where there are boxes, and now that you've played this game, you can find freedom in those boxes?
Yeah, I think just in like in speaking with some of my I would say the teenagers, that sort of a thing. When we're like maybe talking about, I guess, like careers or something like that, and just kind of providing them with just an array of different options, that sort of a thing, and not really saying because you're good in this area, you can only do this, or if they dream that they can play football or basketball, it's like, okay, that's possible, but it's a lot more options out there, and your abilities are not just limited to what you see. It's like it's boundless.
Look, thank you. I don't want to like even say any more words after that. Yeah, absolutely. It's always amazing to have guests on this show because we are doing a thing. You said you're boundless, you're limitless, right?
sure.
That doing this is the same thing, and you get to practice that boundlessness, that limitlessness, even in the confines of the book from cover to cover,
For
right?
sure, for
There's
sure.
still a million different options that you can take.
Very true.
Nicely done. Yeah, yes, Aaron. Yes.
We've come to the part of the show when we're saying profound, wonderful things.
Yes.
I want to make sure that Luke and Emily are with us because
Yes.
it's time for us all to kind of maybe say a little bit less, a little bit the last things about ourselves, and then get on. And I want them here to witness that, but also to share.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to turn you back over to Luke and Emily, and then you can do that, and then we'll do that, and then we'll be out of here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was rounds of applause, raucous rounds of applause. Look at that. It's so good, so good. Okay,
All
we'll
right.
see you in a second.
Okay.
So good. That was so fun. I'm so excited that we got to see Kevin perform.
Yeah, great job.
Appreciate it.
Very nice. And see, now you can add improviser to your like list of things.
Oh yeah, I might put that on my resume somewhere. Hey, I can do this with the kids, something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. So yeah, this is the time where Luke and I have final thoughts. Luke, would you like to go first with your final thoughts?
Sure. Yes. I really liked what you said about feeling like boundless and like, yeah, once again, just like coming back to like just like using our imagination to find different ways and different solutions, and
For sure.
and to still interact and play with one another is really a really awesome thought to leave with. So it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I think there is when we think about, because I also wrote down freedom within a construct as a wonderful kind of little bow to put on what we've been talking about today. When we think about ourselves and like who we are, if we think about those as like actually things that are constricting, then it keeps us from being free. But like once we realize that there's actually some flexibility there, some freedom to kind of play with the boundaries of who we think we are, then we get some more freedom.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So this has been us. We're going to kick ourselves back to Aaron and Shannon to say goodnight.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You find some of the most amazing people to bring on this show. And
They
it's so
find
wonderful.
me, my friend. They find me. And it's so good because you and I have been doing this so long and we love it. Yes, we do love it.
That's true.
But when we get a chance to find people who have never done it, and then they are learning things that we're like, right, that's why we do this.
Yes.
That's exactly why
Because
we do
everyone's
this.
already improvising all the time.
You're already doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Somehow you're doing it right now. And it's fun to be able to say, yes, you're doing that. Let's do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and that okay. So back to my original thought on the self about
Mhm.
how improv helped me kind of get away from myself and then bring me back to myself.
Mhm.
That idea of exploration, that we are all always exploring ourselves.
Right.
And in particular, what I learned tonight, or it dawned on me, was that the existence of a self sort of asks the question, what else is there? And the answer is our bigger year idea, which is community.
Yeah,
right?
Aaron, signs, doggone
Because when
you.
you're exploring yourself, how are you exploring yourself? When
Right.
you're pretending to be other people in your community, you are exploring yourself in relationship to all those other people in the community. The community is exploring itself through you, and you are exploring yourself in the context of that community.
Absolutely.
And it's such a gorgeous thing when you see that it's positive and it's a chance to open up and share those things that you want to say but don't know how to, right? That is being authentic and having integrity to yourself.
Ooh, yes. Thank you for bringing our word back. Yes, that integrity. Absolutely. And we are doing that all the time. Improv on and off the stage. That's what we do. We are creating the content. We are creating shows so that you can use improv in your life on purpose, right? When we are exploring what are the tools that we can use to explore ourselves, to explore our community. You can find those tools at Improv on and off the stage. You can look up shannonstott.com and find those tools there. You can be a sponsor or a patron. Thank you for those of you who are doing that you're making it happen. You're about to say something very important. I can feel it.
Feel it in
Yes,
me so
what
bad.
is it?
Go ahead.
No,
'cause
I
you
want to
get
know.
paid. I just want to say something to everyone out there that I said to your character earlier.
Oh, what is it?
You are worth exploring. You are worth taking time for. Healing yourself is worth it.
Friends and family, this has been Improv on and off the stage, on and off the show. This is Aaron Sines.
This is Shannon Dale Stott Davis.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next month.